G'day, welcome to this demo of setting up onboarding step templates within WorkZerk. Now, step template is simply a template for a field within WorkZerk. And you can see here under onboarding, this is the onboarding workflow that the onboardees are going to be complied to complete. And each of these steps can contain all sorts of actions within them. So just to show you how it all works, that's the section title, section name. And here, it's actually the section details, so you can just type different details in there. And if we edit the individual step, you can see how it all hangs together. So you've got these three sections here. First is the content. So this is what's provided to the onboardee. Normally it'd be instructions. So what we're doing here with the onboardees is we're asking for a copy of a bank statement, which clearly shows the bank account name, bank account details, so they can be verified. So this is a very important process for most organizations in Australia now. When they're paying out people, they want to be able to verify that the bank details are correct, and pretty much the only surefire way to do that is to get a copy of the bank statement in terms of a screenshot, which just shows the bank account number. It doesn't have to show bank account details such as balances or transactions, but that's essentially what the accounts department is asking for here. So we've got the instructions there, and we're also displaying a file in line. So let's see what that file is. In this case, it's an image, pretty much exactly what we want the onboardee to provide, just the header of the bank statement with the bank account details and bank account name. And so that's what's going to be displayed in the onboarding portal. Now, in terms of inputs for this particular step, we're not requesting any other details in that step. But let's just say we wanted to. We could go bank statement date, make that required, and now it will also request the bank statement date together with the bank statement. Now there is something else which is required here, and that's the view image or PDF action. So if an image or a PDF is displayed in line and you have the view image PDF checkbox checked as displayed here, then what WorkZerk's going to do, it's going to actually show an acknowledge button. So it's just going to get that actual acknowledgement from the person that they've read it, understand it. If it wasn't displayed in line, if it was a clickable link for the image or PDF, then if you have view image or PDF checked, they'll actually have to physically click on the view image or PDF before that action can be completed. So that's a subtle difference there. Now you can request uploads here, request a signature and approval, but this is just one step, one field. So we're actually going to do that in the later steps. So let's save that because we did add that extra input there. And you can see there, if you're observant, you'll see onboarding statuses need refreshing because we actually added a new step in the process. So that means that any existing onboardees will effectively be un-onboarded because they haven't provided that step, that bank account statement date. So yeah, that's getting a bit ahead of myself there, but that's why that's showing there. So that if we click that, that'll refresh the onboarding statuses for the onboardees. You now see that all our onboardees are un-onboarded effectively because we've added that extra field. But more on that on a different video. So here are the templates. Let's go. We're not going to go through each of them, but let's just go down to some of the more interesting ones like upload bank statement. So this is where they're actually going to upload a copy of their bank statement. So we'll edit this. And so this particular step, it has instructions, but it also has this upload option here. So when you check that, it drops down, says maximum uploads 1. So we don't want 20 copies of the bank statement. We just want 1. And also, really importantly, you've got approval check down here. So that is going to comply an admin to approve it. So human in the loop type stuff. So a real person is going to have to look at what the onboardee has uploaded and check that it matches the BSB and account number they have on file. And that sort of just closes the whole loop on compliance. So you can see here what WorkZerk does is it summarizes what is going to be required in terms of compliance. and a file upload is required, and a human manual check is required. Those two things combine to close the loop. So let's have a look at what, you can actually just quickly show you this. You can reorder the steps here if you need to. This little button here is how the section is displayed, and it can be displayed in the onboarding portal in two ways. With these individual steps here, you can either display those steps as a form, so each field or step appears under each other, or you can display it sort of like a wizard, where it's once you've completed a step, you go to the next step and the next step and the next step. So those are the two ways that a section can be configured, and you can mix and match it. So you can have a form at the top and then more like a wizard, or vice versa. So very flexible. So let's have a look at what the actual onboardee will see. Let's go into onboardees. Let's just quickly show you how to add an onboardee in WorkZerk. So let's just set one up here. I'm using the actually I'll use a different email address that I have access to here, and I'm using the basically type or paste in the details to get this in very quickly, and that's going to add John for onboarding. So John's there now. To invite John, bang, John's been invited, so he's now received an email, and those invites will be sent immediately. So actually the email will be received very quickly, within a few seconds. So if we go into we won't, I can hear the email in the background's been received, but won't show you that. I'll show you what the onboarding portal actually looks like from John's point of view. So John will receive, or has received, an email now with a link to his personalized portal, and all he's going to do is click on that link, and this is what he'll see. This is the actual onboarding portal for John Smith, and you can see it's incomplete. So John's going to step that down. He's going to drop that down there, and now you begin to see how those templates work. So that's the sample image that John is going to look at, and as I mentioned before, he's going to have to click on acknowledge. Acknowledges that. He's going to have to put in a bank statement date. Now actually, we should have actually had that as a date field, not just a text field, so I've made a mistake there, but that can be rectified. So let's put in a date there anyway. Company name, so you can see these fields once they're completed. Account name, you see the little red circles are disappearing. We've got Sue and accounts, and we've got CBA, and we've got a BSB and account number. Now we're going to upload a copy of the bank statement. We're going to do this very quickly, and it's showing it's 234K, so it's not too big, not more than 10 megabytes. You can optionally put a description in there. That is the onboard. You can put in a description. That's quite useful in other scenarios, like if you're uploading swims or something. But at this point, we need to actually upload it. So let's upload a file. What it's going to do is upload that in the background. That's done already. And we're going to sign it. We're going to do one more step after this as well, but let's go in here and let's sign it. Okay, that's John. And finally, the last step in the onboarding is to submit the responses of these fields here. Okay, so they've all been entered from what I can see. So let's submit that and watch very closely in the center. And bang, 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 it's going to check everything. And onboarding is complete. Success, you are now onboarded. And within the admin area, let's go back here. You can see that John's onboarding status has changed to green instantly in the background. So if you're waiting for John to complete the onboarding, then you would literally just have this screen open and you would watch as that changed from red to green. There is, however, another icon showing here, which is verification being orange. That's because you have not verified John. So you'd go into the compliance here and you'd have a look at what he's uploaded. In this case, it's a screenshot of WorkZerk, and you take the appropriate action, either rejecting it or approving it. And so, yeah, that's how you set up templates. You can set up as many sections as you require with as many fields. And as I say, you can mix and match how those are displayed in the onboarding portal. And also touched on that concept of, well, if you change the onboarding within WorkZerk, like we did, because I added a new field, then yeah, that will un-onboard the members who were previously onboarded. Now, it's not going to email them and say, hey, you're un-onboarded. You have to do that manually. But yeah, if you've added or changed the onboarding process, then effectively the people that are already onboarded will no longer be onboarded. However, it's actually good practice once you've onboarded some within WorkZerk to archive them, because archive members, their onboarding status does not change. So what you can do is you can look at all the people that are onboarded and archive them. And now, if we change the templates here in any way, John would remain onboarded because he's archived. So yeah, that's all how it all hangs together. If you've got any other questions, check out workzerk.com.au, and thanks for watching.